Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to DNN. This is breaking news, an unscheduled live stream. We're doing this one on the fly. President Trump, former President Trump, has been shot in what appears to be a failed assassination attempt at a political rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. We're going to show you guys the live feed from Fox News as it's playing right here. They're showing video of President Trump. He is alive. He appears to have been hit in the ear while he was speaking. You could hear shots ring out. The president briefly touches his ear, looks at his hand as if sees the blood, and then quickly ducks before being tackled by Secret Service. And you can hear more than a dozen other shots in rapid succession, appears to be semi-automatic. Before the shots stopped, obviously the crowd was panicked somewhat. We don't really have very much information at this point. We don't have anything as to the identity, motivations of the shooter, if they even have a suspect in custody. We don't know if any bystanders were hit or if any Secret Service were injured. Melody, what do you know? I mean, while I've been talking, have you learned anything new? This is all being done on the fly, folks.
No. So we haven't learned anything new, Jack. It's still the same things that you're seeing. We know he was hit in the ear. You know, one thing that a follower sort of mentioned was that the fact that we didn't hear return fire might mean that they have the assassin in custody. So that is one interesting note that I heard from someone as well, but no new information. I think, Jack, that, you know, what struck both you and me is that just after this happening, that image of him standing up with his fist in the air, the blood on his face, that is quite an image.
Yeah, here, let me see if I can quickly upload that image there. I've got it right here.
I've got it here as well, Jack, if you wanted to share my screen right now.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Melody's screen here. We're gonna share that. That is a pretty powerful image right there in so many ways. Look, we're not trying to glorify violence here or anything like that. But with the fist raised defiantly like there, that's a pretty powerful image, folks. We're watching history made right here. It's a pretty sad state of affairs. The normalization of political violence is something I've been railing about on X and formerly Twitter for years now. It seems to be getting more and more normal for punches, bottles, tear gas, things to be thrown over politics in this country. And we've seen some pretty dark days. We've seen violence at political rallies and now shots fired. Hopefully nobody seriously injured. And, just want to take a second here, besides the politics of it all, which I'm sure, guys, there's going to be a lot of fallout of this. And I don't want to add to the hysteria of it. So we're going to try to be calm about this. But those Secret Service agents, the way they tackled him, Secret Service agents aren't picked based on their political affiliations, right? Those people, it's their job to be a meat shield. Let's put it bluntly. They throw themselves on top of the guy. And for all we know, half of those Secret Service agents probably don't like him very much. And yet they're willing to just dive on him like that because it's about the office. It's about what the presidency represents. It needs to be above petty partisan politics. And these people there shown in that screen doing their job like that. You can hear in some of the audio, you can hear them talking to each other. The president's mic was still on saying, "What are we doing? Yes. What are we doing?" Knowing the shots are still flying. You can hear multiple shots after the president was tackled, and they're just laying there. Obviously, the president was hit. He was hit in the ear there, but
yeah. Something I want to say, Jack, is, the reason why we felt it was important to come on the air and share this, even though we don't have a ton of information right now, is exactly what you said. I feel like we are chronicling history. I mean, we all knew that 2024 was going to be a crazy year, but I think as the year has progressed, it's gotten crazier and crazier and crazier every minute, every second. And to be honest, this is a bit shocking to me, just because in terms of if you're thinking strategy, martyring Donald Trump, in my opinion, was probably not a good strategy. And I do believe that in essence, that's what this photograph says to me, if you were on the other side of Trump.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest with you. Whatever was going through the mind of this nut lone wolf, or we don't even know that, do we? We don't know anything about motivations, identities. And to a point, I almost don't care. I don't want to know what this person's motivation was. I don't want to know this person's identity, because I'd rather not glorify them and what they just did. But they did just create a campaign poster, didn't they?
They did. Yeah. And one of our viewers here, Jack, is saying something that's very disturbing to me. What's trending on Twitter right now is, how do you miss? And I mean, I have to be honest with you. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how close that really was. How could they get that close? And on Twitter, folks are saying, how do you miss? I mean, this is a former president, guys, of the United States of America. Whatever your politics, that's just, in my opinion, that's not cool. I don't know how else to say it without being, yeah.
And just to clarify, and thank you, Raymond, for the comment. This is Raymond quoting what is trending on Twitter, not Raymond saying that. Yeah. So, and thank you, Raymond, for bringing that to our attention. We need to be better than this. I mean, look, disagreeing over policy, or I don't like the tweets, or it doesn't rise to this level, guys. It's just, we need to be better than this. We need to stop throwing punches because we don't like the color of a hat. And obviously January 6th was not a good day for this country either, trying to interfere with a presidential inauguration. And, it happened when Trump was inaugurated also, that, there was violence all over DC. We just need to be better than this. And look, nobody's really happy with the state of presidential politics. I certainly am not. I was not looking forward to a replay of 2020 by any means. And I be honest with you, I'm not even really a fan of Donald Trump at this point. And yet this makes me want to vote for him more. Let me just put it that way, because somebody tried to take the choice away from me. Makes me want to vote for him more. And I didn't want to vote for him to begin with.
And I think that, that's where my brain went, Jack, just, and when we were talking before the show, I just thought that folks would, but maybe this is a lone wolf. That's not usually how it turns out, but we'll see. Not when all the reports are filed, but, and also he's a human being, and he's standing on our soil and our country. And, if you don't think that sends a message to the rest of the world that a former president could be shot while standing, freely in Butler, Pennsylvania, that sends a very grave message indeed. This isn't just like Macron calling a snap election. This is something altogether more sinister.
This is somebody wanted to take away the choice, right? That's right. For whatever reason, and that I just can't abide by that. And I would be saying the same thing if somebody had just taken a shot at President Biden. All right. There's no shortcuts like that. You do not take the choice away. This is somebody with a gun trying to say, I know better than the electorate, and we need to be better than this.
Right. And be it with guns or words, right? Like, no one knows better than the electorate. That's what we have to believe when we live in this country. And I think far too often people, disregard disregard us as the electorate. And, I think we really need to make a stand together and say that this is unacceptable, no matter which side you're on. And certainly we shouldn't be talking. And again, more than likely it's some troll or, maybe even a bot from a foreign actor that is saying, how could they not miss, and not someone from the United States? And so that's something we have to keep take into consideration as well, is that, people are going to be playing on our emotions. So, we have to, I think in these cases, sometimes assume positive intent, even when we don't want to. So if people are out there saying that, we need to also wonder exactly where that is coming from.
Very well said. Yeah. And why is something like that being amplified by an algorithm, as if to put that in front of more eyes? Like, that's the message we want people to receive. You have to wonder that. Are we being pitted against one another? I just want to say thank you to T.A. Chapman. I appreciate the support of the channel, saying I appreciate you guys getting on. Prayers to Trump and his family. and that he's okay. He does appear to be okay. It looks like it just nicked his ear. He says, I worry about the backlash. This is a sad day. And those last two sentences, I think, are very important, TA. I, too, worry about the backlash. Beware the normalization of political violence in this country. That goes for both sides, right and left. More violence is not the answer. More rioting, more destruction, more harm is only going to make this worse. And I agree, this is a sad day. But let me just put a positive spin on this. We have been here before, right? Assassination attempts at Reagan, Lincoln, obviously. And, you know, I'm a little emotional right now myself. So I know there have been, what was it? McKinley was actually assassinated. That's gone a little bit before my time. I'm not that old. Thank you very much. But this is.
And the uncle of of someone running for president.
Yeah. Or a candidate. So, but, you know, this is a time to reflect maybe on some of the things that we have said that maybe some of the things we're saying is contributing to this slow boiling pot that is turning people into nuts that do things like this. So it's also a time to reflect on maybe the roles we might be playing in this slow degradation of the diatribe. I mean, at the end of the day, these people are our friends. These people are our neighbors, our family, even. My best friend is a liberal. We can scream at each other all night about politics and disagree, shouting matches, little spittle flying both directions. And at the end of the night, we can still hug and go to bed and wake up best friends the next morning. It doesn't rise to that level. So,
agreed. Jack, you brought up a really good point. Well, we were both talking about the algorithms, but I wanted to bring up this tweet from Elon Musk. You know, I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery. I mean, do you think that that Musk would ever, you know, take any responsibility for some of that divisiveness and hate that is being spewed out there on social media? I mean, some say that his recent taking away the ability for people to see what other people are liking was actually a move to sort of intensify so that people would not be afraid of liking more, you know, more like aggravating or sort of, you know, fiery tweets.
You know, I'm something of a critic of Musk ever since the Solar City buyout. When his Tesla company bought his bankrupt Solar City company, I found that to be very borderline unethical. So I always look at Elon with a little bit of suspicion in anything that he does. My opinion has always been Elon is out for Elon, and I guess most of us are the same. But what he showed the world after he bought Twitter, that was happening with the systemic suppression of messaging, and how federal law enforcement was being weaponized against individual speech. And Elon spent a lot of his own money to expose that and opened it up to the world. I think he did a great public service with that. So my praise of Elon's probably going to stop there. Endorsements of billionaires, I don't think should carry the weight that they do. And yet here they are. But I do think he did the world a service, even though half the world hates him for it. I do think he did the world a service when he shined a light on what the government was conspiring with big tech to do. Big tech, you know, look, here we are on a big tech platform. So I guess there's a little bit of self-awareness is required here, but big tech does not always have our best interests in mind. And it's also something to think about.
Oh, wow.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Do we have any of these other?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, do you have any of those other images available in the immediate aftermath? Sounds like a no.
Yeah, no. So sorry. I just had, no. I just had these two, and I don't know if we want to play those original clips or keep the stream running from Fox.
I'm going to run the stream from Fox for just a minute here, folks. And again, this is what is the actual channel here? It looks like the CBS logo showing on the screen here. I'd like to give credit to the channel that this is. This is Live Now from Fox is the name of the channel. Let me bring in the audio so you guys can hear this.
President Trump thanks law enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. He is fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. More details will follow. And then we also have a tweet from his son, Donald Trump Jr., with a photo here from that rally saying he'll never stop fighting to save America. In this photo, you can also see the blood on the former president's face at the top of his right ear. We did see the moments when he reached for that right ear and he went down behind the podium trying to take cover in this situation. It was very quick, very chaotic. We played it for you here as all of that went down. Let's bring back into the conversation now our national security expert, counterterrorism expert, and also someone who has worked closely with the Secret Service, Hal Kempfer, continues to join me here. Hal, let's keep dissecting the situation as we wait to learn.
All right, so I'm gonna turn it down while the security expert is talking, because usually they bring in the experts when they don't have any new updates to bring people.
Did you see what I just posted, Jack? Or
no, I did not. Did you?
Okay, it looks like from Wall Street Silver breaking, per the Butler Police Department, the Trump shooter has been arrested at the scene and has been identified as Mark Violets, an Antifa member. Prior to the shooting, Mark Violets uploaded a video on YouTube claiming justice is coming. I don't know if we can get that video.
Could you share your screen, Melody, so we can bring that post up?
Yep. I will share my screen right now. Again, this is just a Twitter user, guys. This is not an authentic source, but this is what we're seeing on Twitter right now.
So while we're bringing this up, this is a good time to mention, guys, we're kind of doing this on the fly here. My background is mechanical engineering and nuclear power. Melody's, your background, Melody, is, what was your degree in?
Varied, but degrees in humanities and an MBA as well.
Okay, so none of those things are journalism. And let me just put that there. We have no professional journalism training. So,
I did work at the Wall Street Journal.
Here. This is coming from an unconfirmed source. This is Wall Street Journal, or Wall Street Silver on X. Could you go ahead and read that again? It's a little fuzzy on screen for me.
Okay, per the Butler Police Department, the Trump shooter has been arrested at the scene and has been identified as Mark Violets, an Antifa member. Prior to the shooting, Mark Violets uploaded a video on YouTube claiming justice is coming. So I'm going to see if, if I stop sharing my screen, Jack, I'll look here for that video. If you want to bring back up the footage.
Okay. And once again, folks, that is unconfirmed. All we're doing is reporting on something that's been said on Twitter. We got a guy quoting a guy there. So that is unconfirmed information. Once again, it's real easy to let emotions and tempers flare at a time like this. So let's try not to overreact too much. And, once again, I just got to say to those guys, look at these people, knowing somebody is shooting at the president, to just throw yourself there like that, men and women doing that. Really something to be said for those Secret Service agents. They deserve a medal of all the people who have had medals of freedom and things like that pinned on them. Those people up there throwing themselves in the line of fire like that deserve the credit. Also, something I just want to mention, a lot of shots rang out, and that is a very densely packed crowd there. So we don't know anything about other injuries, if any bystanders might have been hit. And that's also something to keep in mind as we're all hyperventilating about the political aspect of this. There is also a humanitarian aspect that could be involved here, and we don't have any information about that yet either. But once again, guys, just a sad day. Did this actually happen? Captain Crunch saying, "Let me get my shoes." Is that an actual quote? He didn't have his shoes, or his shoes came off, or they tackle his shoes off. I don't know. That's the things we say in the heat of the moment, though. Let me just put that. Also, if I might add a personal note.
Well, when you're in
go ahead.
Shock, as you know, Jack, I mean, you're a first responder.
Yeah, you say some weird things when adrenaline is pumping. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been a first responder that long, and I'm pretty much untested when it comes to the life-threatening aspect of things. But I formerly worked the deadliest job in the world. I worked on deck of a commercial fishing boat, and we surfed Hurricane Charlie home. And that was a terrifying experience. And we were all out on deck because nobody wanted to be in the cabin if the boat rolled over. Because imagine the room you're in is suddenly upside down and the lights go dark. Do you think you could swim out in one breath when everything is backwards and left is right and up is down? Probably not. So we were all out on deck for the storm. And we were all just laughing every time these monster waves broke over the deck, nearly killing us. And it was because we were laughing because we were terrified. And yet, for some reason, none of us wanted to show any fear to the guys next to us on deck. And so all you could do is, oh, my God, we almost died a second ago. Isn't that funny? No, not at all. But we were laughing anyway. So where's my shoes? Or let me get my shoes. Yeah. Funny things come out of your mouth when when bullets are flying or waves are breaking over your head or boats are flipping over. You say weird stuff, guys. So that doesn't surprise me if that's accurate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to read a little bit while we have the message playing here. I'm just going to take a look at some of the other news networks here. I'm going off of, this is on Fox News. Bloodied Trump rushed off stage after possible gunshots at Pennsylvania rally. I'm noticing the mainstream press is being very careful with their wording here. The word assassination, I have not heard anybody mention in the press yet. Possible gunshots. I mean, it was pretty obvious gunshots there. It didn't sound like a slingshot to me. MSNBC is saying Trump rushed off stage as shots fired at rally. Trump safe after being rushed off stage after gunshot-like sounds. The press is being very careful not to get this one wrong. Let's see, CNN here saying Trump injured in incident at Pennsylvania rally. Fox News was also describing this as an incident at the rally. Again, the word assassination that is really being tiptoed around here. It's making me wonder, was I irresponsible in using the word? I don't think so. I think this is pretty obviously a failed assassination attempt. I don't have proof of that other than a president was just shot in the ear at a campaign rally. I mean, that assassination does come to mind there. Appreciate the humor, brother. And let me just add, guys, people making jokes. You can't laugh about it. Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
breaking in, Jack. So it looks like, and we saw this in the chat as well, but we're also seeing on Twitter, thanks to Julius Miami, there's a guy dead on a roof nearby. They're saying, I'll share, I have it up on my screen. This is Bowtied Mara, I guess. But if you want to bring my screen back up, Jack, or
okay.
Yeah.
Guy dead on roof nearby. It's kind of, can you full screen that, Melody? If you click on that video, yeah. Lower left corner of the actual video playing center screen. There we go. Well, it is a guy laying down motionless. Once again, guys, no journalism degrees here. So is that a guy dead on a rooftop? I don't know. It appears that way. Possible identity of the shooter, possible identity of a Secret Service agent. We don't know anything about that, but looks like another layer of this story here. We did hear shots continue to ring out for a couple of seconds, even after the Secret Service tackled the president or covered the president got down himself. He was covered by the Secret Service. But there was several shots in rapid succession. They all sounded like pretty much the same caliber, like it was the same shooter. It didn't really sound like return fire. Generally, there's two distinct sounds when somebody returns fire. It didn't really sound like that. But I have a hard time thinking the Secret Service didn't somehow respond with gunfire. Could that be part of that? And again, I'm just speculating here. We just don't know. Cameron is saying that is why we watch for the truth. Cameron, we're trying here, brother. I don't really know. Again, I don't know much more than you guys do as this information is rolling in. We're just, bringing it to you as it comes in. Melody is scrolling through Twitter and various news networks as we're watching this stuff. Let me just give a little bit. I'll read a little bit out of what they're saying. We'll start with CNN here. I'm going to click on CNN's headline here. What we're covering: former President Donald Trump was rushed off stage after loud bangs were heard at the start of a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Saturday night. The Secret Service says Trump is safe and under protective measures. A spokesperson said Trump is fine and referred to the incident as a heinous act, but the details on what exactly happened remain sparse. Trump was swarmed by agents on stage after bangs were heard. Blood could be seen on his face, and he raised a fist to the crowd as he was rushed away. The incident came after a busy day of campaigning for both Trump and President Biden. in the 2024 presidential race. Oh, here we go. Less than a minute later, shooter at Trump rally is neutralized, sources are saying. The shooter involved in an incident at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania has been neutralized, according to multiple law enforcement sources. So this isn't the online rumor mill. This is law enforcement sources, multiple law enforcement saying the shooter has been neutralized. Don't know what neutralized means. Vice President Harris has been briefed on the incident at the Trump rally. She's been briefed on the security incident at former President Donald Trump's rally. According to her office, Harris is en route to D.C. from a campaign stop in Philadelphia. President Bush calls the incident at a Trump rally a cowardly attack on his life. Former President George W. Bush says he is grateful that former President Donald Trump is safe. Laura and I are grateful that President Trump is safe following a cowardly attack on his life, and we commend the men and women of the Secret Service for their speedy response, Bush said in a statement. All right.
New York Post just used the word assassination attempt. So we've got our first media outlet that I've seen calling it an assassination attempt.
Yep. Again, it's a little weird to see how careful the press has been. I mean, as much as the press has been so gung-ho in making things worse and making them, taking whatever either side says and putting it in the worst possible context to villainize the other side. And we are just constantly bombarded with reasons to hate each other. And now they're so careful to use the word assassination when that pretty obviously seemed like what was happening there. And they were so careful. I mean, it even had me wondering, was I responsible to say it? But I mean, it just seems so obvious what it was. Interesting to see them being so careful.
I wonder, Jack, in the future, thinking about, though, I think a lot of people have gotten very worried about AI and just sort of, the fake voices, the fake images, that sort of thing. So could that potentially be why, they're being careful? Just talking out loud of possibilities, probabilities.
The possibility of what, deep fakes or cheap fakes or, hey, we live in an age of that, unfortunately. So right now, I mean, this appears to be more than credible. This is being reported.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Outlets, so,
I think so too. What I'm saying is maybe the networks were being careful as they authenticated it, and verified it themselves. I'm just giving the alternative to perhaps, yeah.
I don't want to mess with my screen right now because I don't want to lose the news feed. It was hard enough for me to get the audio working on that news feed. But there are more images of the Secret Service on Fox News and on MSNBC.
Yeah, we've got more breaking news here. That county prosecutor says 2 people killed, including suspect in shooting at Trump rally. That's according to the Washington Post.
Okay, so that was 2 people killed, including suspects. So 1 suspect, 1 other person killed. That second fatality, we don't know. Was it a crowd member? Was it law enforcement? Was it a second possible suspect? Just still using the word suspect, singular here. So as far as we know, still a lone actor here. Guys, that's the one thing while we're talking about lone actor and parsing words and plurality and singularity, there is going to be so much garbage floating around the internet over the next few days. I don't even know what to say. Just be careful. Check your sources. Check the reliability of the sources. Look for multiple reportings of the same thing before you accidentally amplify BS. Because there is so much of it out there, and there are so many people who are going to take advantage of this to push whatever version of whatever they're trying to do. I don't know what the motivations are, but we've seen this before. So it's just something to think about. There's people in the comments already trying to assign blame. We don't know who the person was, what their motivations were. And again, there was that one post from a few minutes ago that mentioned somebody by name. We don't know. We haven't been able to confirm that. Nobody else is reporting the identity of the shooter yet. So we really don't have any information beyond what we know. 2 fatalities, 1 including the suspect. All right. So when we hear that the suspect was neutralized, we know the suspect is dead. Possible that was the individual on the rooftop that that was shown in that image earlier.
Yeah. And I've got some more. I've got some more imagery here. It looks like maybe potentially somebody being pulled out of the crowd. I don't know if that's what you're. No. All right. So let me present here, Jack.
Yep.
As well. Give me 1 second.
The Associated Press is also reporting the shooter is dead and a rally attendee killed at Trump event. And, you know, that's what I was worried about, folks. Shots fired into a crowded event like that. The odds of nobody being hit were pretty slim. And looks like the Associated Press is confirming now at least one rally attendee was killed. That is a civilian shot and killed in a failed assassination attempt on President Trump's life. This is a sad day. We need to be better than this. Look, certain people are going to be out there saying he says mean things and this and that, and I don't like political discourse, as if to make excuses or somehow rationalize it. Don't. And some people are going to be out there calling for retaliation and saying this is why we need to be more violent, or somebody else needs to be. Don't do that. It's not going to help things at all. I'm going to bring Melody's screen up here now. Melody, what are we looking at?
So theoretically, this is pulling somebody out of the crowd here. Look.
Okay, I see rubber gloves on that first responder who is either a sheriff's officer. That looks like a medical lead. That's a medevac. Yep, that's a medevac. That is probably the bystander that was hit that we heard about. Sadly, I don't know if that is the fatality. It's looking like it. Again, sad day, folks. We need to be better than this. Why don't we pull that image down? We don't need to. I'm going to put the press back up.
Yeah.
Look, guys, we're kind of new at this whole thing.
Yep.
We're not trying to glorify violence in any way. I'm actually trying the best to unglorify it that I can here. But I'm just going to keep saying it over and over again. We need to be better than this. We are better than this. Too many people have a financial interest in making us hate each other. We need to get over it. We need to be better than that. We need to learn how to argue and just be stubborn, arrogant a-holes without throwing punches again. I mean, listen, you don't have to let the other side win, but don't throw punches. Don't throw bullets. I mean, come on, guys. We're better than this. I'm just...
Yeah, and I'm going to wax philosophical for a second, if you don't mind, Jack.
Please.
I was just going to say, you know, in terms of winning, right? Like, so one of my favorite books is, you know, it's called, and I'm going to forget the name right now because I'm out of it, but it's by Simon Sinek. And it's essentially about the fact that, you know, there is no winning in life, right? I mean, we all essentially die. And so the idea that we are out there always constantly trying to win really doesn't make any sense. What we should be doing instead is sort of working together to, you know, to make things better. But, and just the idea of trying to always win every argument, win every point. I mean, that's very empty at the end of one's life. You know, looking back, winning is not, you know, it's going to be a lot of cold comfort as likely, you know, you don't have the things around you that really can make a joyful and productive life. And, you know, that may seem silly right now, but I honestly believe that our society is way too focused on trying to win something that is not winnable.
That's very well said, Melody. You know, I tell my girls all the time, and, you know, it's a rhetorical question. I ask them, I say, who wins a fight? And they are trained to say nobody. Nobody wins a fight. By the time the fight starts, you've already lost. All right. And, you know, Master Sun, for those who've read The Art of War, the easiest fight to win is the one you never get in. So, again, certain people who are angry for whatever reason are going to point at this and say this is a reason for more violence. Those are the voices that need to be de-amplified, and the people who are calling for calm and the people who are calling for a return to reason are the ones who need to be amplified. We're going to do our best to do that here. You know, if you're in the comments and you're one of the ones trying to hype people up and get people more angry, you're not. You're in the wrong neighborhood. All right. There's plenty of outlets where you can go find that stuff elsewhere if that's what you're looking for. And again, not the first time.
The title of that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say the title of that book, just so The Infinite Game. And just again, the idea is that none of us will live forever. And so the infinite game is really about doing everything that we can to better life for those that come after us. But go ahead, as you were saying, Jack, this has happened before.
Yeah, I mean, we've had presidents assassinated. We've had attempted assassination on presidents before, and we bounced back from it. So we didn't spiral into chaos and into civil war. When those things happened, we had actually been fresh out of one when it had happened, and we didn't fall right back into it. So, voices of calm prevailed in those situations, and let's be those these days. I'm trying to look for names, identities right now of the shooter, and there's really nothing out there. So that post about the identity of the shooter, let's not rush to judgment or anything there, guys. There's nothing out there beyond that to confirm that.
That's right.
I'm looking for it right now, and I'm just not hear it. I'm seeing multiple sources saying shooter
I'm
is
seeing,
down. The Associated Press. Go ahead.
Julius just sent me a Twitter post about an emergency room doctor that they spoke with, tried to save someone's life in the crowd, and that's coming from CBS News. And again, just it's an image of a man, in a bloody shirt. I don't know if we want to show it, but it sounds like there was a doctor and they were trying to say.
Okay, this is not the man who died.
You got it?
I think we can show that. An emergency room doctor I spoke with tried to save someone's life in the crowd. Looks like this was obviously, you can see the blood on the man's shirt. Must have been seated or standing next to the person who was hit. And again, the Associated Press is reporting both the shooter and one bystander were killed in this gunfire. And pretty obvious that this guy had a front row seat to whatever it was. Let's see if there's anything else being reported in the press right now. Still just saying one rally attendee and the shooter hit. Still nothing as to the identity of the shooter beyond, the rumor mill, which we're gonna be very careful here. Saying American rally attendees ducked in response to the noise. Trump appeared to be bleeding out of the side of his head. It looks like it was his ear. That image of the bleeding ear. We were kind of talking about this earlier, and I had kind of just flippantly remarked to Melody, not since Ross Perot entered the race, in the race between Bush and Clinton, has an ear played such a pivotal role in an election, I think. And I'm not trying to, again, if you can't joke about it, if you can't make laughs about it, what can you do? You're left just with the sad reality of it. But that shot of the ear, there's going to be powerful images of Trump in bandages, and look, they're gonna play it up.
Look at this one. Look at this one, Jack, that I just brought up on screen. Oh my!
Oh wow! The moment Trump asked where his shoes were, yes. Right. Again, I'm trying to make light of the situation here. Yeah.
Huge shout out to Julius Miami for sending me these. Thank you, Julius. Wow, that is wow.
Thank you, Julius. Yep, I appreciate that. Is a good image. What dare I say, Pulitzer contenders here coming out of this today? I mean, we're definitely watching history made here.
Right.
And this is the first time I've ever tried to do anything like this. I don't know. We don't have
doing our best, right?
No. Melody and I, our phone started blowing up. It was Travis who, is probably chomping at the bit because he's miles away from civilization with just shady cell services. We need to go live right now. Go live. Well, Travis, we're live. Where you're watching. How are we doing, buddy? I wish we had your drone right about now.
Right. He's texting right now, but I wish he could come in from the beach for a second. But wow. Yep. Okay. That is wow. That's quite an image.
And guys, like let's just stop for a second and reflect on where we're at right now. I mean, we're talking about an attempt made on a former president's life and a active candidate, the Republican nominee for president. I mean, he hasn't been formally declared the nominee, but the primary is over. He won. At the same time, we've got a sitting president, and his issues are obviously common knowledge. We don't need to beat on that particular drum at this point in time. But it's not so crazy to imagine we might be in a situation, and I'm not advocating for anything, but President Biden's health is what it is. Presidential politics in 2024 is not for the faint of heart, guys. The election is a long way off still. Oh my God, it's a long way off. Hold your nose, folks. We got months of this ahead of us, months of it. Wow. And at this point, we don't even know what our options are really going to be when we wander into the booth in November. We just don't know. Wow. You know, there's people in the comments wondering about, you know, letter agencies and everything. I don't want to stoke that particular fire right now, guys. But look, this man has a lot of enemies. You know, if somebody were to hand President Trump a piece of paper and say, write down anybody who you think might want to hurt you, let's be honest, that's going to be a pretty long list. So, you know, we can sit here and start rattling off the list of people we think it could have been or might have been. I just don't think that's helpful right now. Until we know something definitively, we're just not going to put anything else up on the screen like that. And again, yeah, I'm.
Yeah.
What would somebody with a journalism degree say right about now?
Well, you know, I have to say, Jack, and some of the coverage I saw after the debate from major news networks, I think we're probably being more conservative, to be honest. I couldn't even believe, you know, I've stopped watching a lot of, you know, mainstream media. I definitely don't watch the news, but I did watch some of the coverage after the press conference on NBC. And, you know, it's every network. I'm not picking on them, but unbelievably biased coverage. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And you know, and there wasn't a lot of checking themselves. So I don't know that we should look to mainstream media, at least in its current state, for guidance on that, Jack. I think if this were 30 years ago, you know, we would be remaining calm. We would be reporting the facts as we saying that we don't know for sure. But we're just reporting the information as it comes in. We all know that during the fog of war, you can't, you know, people are going to get things wrong. They're going to get facts wrong. That very first image of Trump looked like he was holding his chest and there was blood, but it was actually a red handkerchief. So you can imagine, you know, that people just react emotionally, like we were saying. So, you know, I think we're doing okay, Jack. We'll probably get into trouble for a few things, but after what's become of mainstream media, I think we're probably holding ourselves to a much higher standard, which I am all for, by the way.
Well, in case anybody's wondering, obviously Trump is the #1 thing trending on Twitter. Staged is the #2 thing trending on Twitter. So there's the moon landing folks have arrived in the discussion. Staged. Richard Simmons is trending. All right. If you're feeling dark and if you're feeling down, Richard Simmons is trending. He's a happy guy.
Is he back? Wait, didn't he like disappear or something for some time?
I don't.
He
I
did.
Don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's Richard Simmons. Antifa is number 4 trending. Again, we don't know. Trending with the word Mark Violets is trending with the word Antifa. I'm going to click on the topic and just see if I can see anything being reported. No.
Julius is telling us that Richard Simmons died, and I guess we weren't aware of that, Jack. So.
Well, geez, you know, here I am saying Richard Simmons is a positive, you know, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. Oh, he died. The 2020s will not let us smile. Guys, it's Richard Simmons. He was so nice. He helped grandma get into shape. Now we've lost Richard Simmons too. I still don't have anything about this name that's going around this as a possible shooter, guys. I see the same tweet being amplified and being reposted, but it's still nothing mainstream. So we're gonna hold off on that one. So I just don't know anything else about that. I'm seeing the image of the man on the roof. I'm guessing that person on the roof nearby was most likely the shooter because the Associated Press is reporting 2 fatalities.
Wall Street Journal is just coming out. They just did a breaking news that confirming that the shooter is dead. I don't know if you saw that.
Okay, no, I didn't see the Wall Street Journal confirming it, but we've got that now from multiple sources that that the shooter is neutralized, and then others saying dead. Oh man, did that just happen too? Dr. Ruth, was that recent?
Yeah, that was, I think, yesterday.
Oh my God.
That was actually, as you were showing the Fox footage underneath it was running Dr. Ruth.
This decade, guys, we're halfway through it. Not even halfway through it. It's only 2024. We got a long way to go in this decade, everybody. Hold your nose, head down, lean forward. We'll get through it. 2030 is going to be awesome. I'm telling you, it's going to be great. Got a lot to look forward to in my 50s. I'm really, it's the new 30.
And let me just plug the Fourth Turning once again for everyone. Yeah. It is such an important book to read and really is a roadmap for what we're going through right now. And why, and wow.
Yeah. And that is a pretty powerful image right there. Powerful and awkward as all get out. I'm just going to throw that there. He's being surrounded by people shielding him from bullets, but at the same time, there is a powerful urge to say, "You missed me. I'm still here." To defiantly shake your fist. The crowd is obviously eating it up, although the adrenaline is still pumping for them. They're terrified. They don't know what's happening. But that defiant fist in the air while surrounded by Secret Service agents with blood dripping down the face. And, Nan, it's from my channel, one of my moderators on my other channel. You're right. We're watching history here. This is absolutely a day that is going to be written about in the history books. Yeah, and I'm just going to reiterate.
So Julius is hitting pay dirt again. This is a BBC interview with a guy outside this security perimeter who claims he saw the shooter before he fired. And so so let me make that bigger here. Sorry.
Oh man,
I haven't watched it yet.
Normally I'd be a little quicker on the fly with a carrot top joke or something here, because some of these jokes write themselves. But guys, I'm a little off my game right now. Trump injured after apparent shooting rally. We don't have the audio. I don't think I can share the audio of this.
Of what we're listening to right now? I can hear it.
Can you reshare the tab and include tab audio in this so we can play this interview from BBC with the sound included?
Yeah, sorry. I thought you heard it. I'm sorry. Yep. Okay, hold on one second. Let me try that.
And also, let me know in the comments, that guy's red hair, was that real or did he dye it orange in honor of President Trump? Let me know in the comments. There's got to be a joke in there somewhere about that guy's hair. Man, that was red.
I think I was.
All right, let's see if we
I was sharing audio, Jack, so I can hear it.
No, we do not have audio here, Mel. When you share the tab, you need to share it from the Chrome tab section in StreamYard. Yeah. Sorry, guys, we're doing this on the fly here. Do a stop share, or actually, why don't you send me the link, Melody? If you can send me the link, send it to the DNN email if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Carrot Top's uncle. Okay. Yeah. And again, guys, I'm about as sharp as wet leather today here. I just can't come up with the.
There's a lot going on. All right. I'm sending that to you now, Jack. So you have it.
Law enforcement officials say shooting at Trump rally is being investigated as attempted assassination of ex-president. It does feel like a rather obvious statement there. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But, again, the press was very hesitant to declare this an assassination. So that was very interesting. I believe we can get this clip of the interview up now. Let me pause it. And, okay, we're going to remove the news here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, this is from Warren Sharp on X. Thank you, Warren Sharp, for sharing this image. We're going to bring this up. I'm going to mute my mic and see if we can get the audio. Melody, could you just confirm when this plays that you guys can hear the audio?
You weren't inside the event, nope, but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, you know. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't know quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle flinging around as he was trying to crawl. I mean, we saw the rifle, 100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but it was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof. Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not on every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions, I think, that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Yes, she was right in front of me. She kept going back and forth right in front of me. Yes.
Tell us about her.
I mean, nice horse, nice lady running with a flag. Seemed very, patriotic.
But what's the significance of her?
No, he asked me if I saw a horse.
Okay. All right, well, listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that. That was a terrible thing. And you should stay safe with your family and
Gotcha.
yourself. Thanks for your time.
Man.
Wow. I can't hear you, Jack. I think you're on mute.
That's right. I muted my own mic. Okay. So what's your reaction to that, Mel? There was a lot to take in there, a lot to process.
That's a lot to process, but I think he's right. I mean, I know this area of Pennsylvania, it's not like there's high rises everywhere. There's not a lot of tall buildings. I don't understand why, I mean, a former president and you've got a group of people saying there's a shooter over there. I mean, that's kind of shocking, Jack. I have to be honest.
Yeah. A lot shocking in there. First of all, the man said it was a rifle that was used. The press often inquires about what kind of weapon was used in a situation like this, often for political reasons. I couldn't help but chuckle a little bit when the reporter asks, what kind of gun do you know about guns? And the guy's, yes, of course I know about guns. I'm from Butler, Pennsylvania. Look at me. Like, come on, guys. We all knew when this interview started that guy knew about guns. Come on. No, I know. Only somebody who doesn't know about guns would ask a question like that to a guy like that. Sorry. Is that judgmental of me? Maybe so, but it's also 100% accurate. Guy says, 100% sure that was the shooter. The Secret Service blew his head off. Pretty blunt language. But yeah, they said he was dead. He was wearing muted colors, tan clothing. Also, the guy was really in disbelief that he was shouting and pointing, hey, guy with a gun up on the roof for several minutes while this was going on. So, whoever that was being interviewed seems almost incredulous that it got as far as it did.
Yeah. I'm incredulous.
Yeah. And you're right. Butler, PA, guys, you can watch your dog run away for a week in Butler, Pennsylvania, because it's just flat for days. There's nothing around there.
Right. Right.
So pretty good vantage. And, Secret Service, Secret Service, those agents up on stage did a marvelous job. And I don't want a Monday morning quarterback, but, you got to assume there are spotters and people observing the surrounding area. I remember hearing stories about when President George W. Bush toured a nuclear facility that my former company owned and how the Secret Service was there weeks in advance, planning his every move. Like, how would they cover him in the elevator ride, and agents at the bottom of the elevator and the top of the elevator and checking the elevator shaft beforehand. I mean, nothing. These guys don't leave details out. So a little bit of what's the word? Incredulity?
Incredulity. I can't do it.
Don't ask me to say it. No, I am incredulous as well. We're going to change the tense real fast.
Exactly.
I'm going to share my screen again. We'll bring the news audio back up here.
I wonder what that reference to the woman on a horse was. That, did you hear that as well? Or
I heard that as well. I heard
perhaps a distraction.
Nice horse, nice lady. I heard him say.
He said nice lady, which I think probably means hot, right? As a distraction.
Do you speak fluent Butlerian? Yeah.
I did live in Pittsburgh for 4 years. So I think, maybe that's referring to a potential distraction at the time. Yeah. Lady Godiva, one of our viewers, says, yes, exactly. But that was an interesting reference. And again, I didn't, how blunt he was about blowing the shooter's head off. I think that there's no question that in that guy's mind, that he was dead. And, I think that's why it's important that we're actually doing this right now, is so that we can actually record these reactions right after the fact. Because, as we saw in things like, Kennedy's assassination, there was a lot of, confusion after the fact, and a lot of facts that got wrong.
And I paused the news feed here. We have a statement from President Biden, or from whoever runs President Biden's Twitter account, saying, I have been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. Jill and I are grateful to I'm presumably saying Secret Service here before it trails off. So President Biden, along with Vice President Harris, have been briefed. Not that I expect a lot to come out of a briefing, but they're at least aware and releasing statements on it. So a lot going on. I'm going to check again with some of the network news coverage and see if we have any more details here. being investigated as an attempted assassination. Biden says grateful Trump is okay after this shooting. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi condemns the shooting. Thanks God that Trump is safe. Speaker Pelosi saying, as one whose family has been the victim of political violence, I know firsthand that political violence of any kind has no place in our society. Pelosi said in a statement posted on X. Are we referring to that hammer incident there, the political violence, or is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying that was? That was okay. But I thank God that former President Trump is safe. As we learn more details about this horrifying incident, let us pray that all those in attendance at the former president's rally today are unharmed. Shooter killed at Secret Service, according to a source, and at least one other rally attendee has been killed. No details there. Seeing 2 injured, shooter dead. I'm guessing the 2 injured is referring to the shooter and the bystander that we've heard has been killed. Reading on here, Trump is in good spirits, according to Don Jr. It didn't look like anything even close to, well, I mean, I guess close geographically, it was close to a fatal wound, but, you know, it looks like he was winged in the ear. And so, you know, obviously not a fatal injury, although not far, a couple of inches one way or another. And this would be a different story in a different country. So, you know, President Trump dodged a bullet today. Maybe the whole country did. I don't know. Maybe this is viewed as a low point and maybe we bounce back from here. I hope the cooler heads prevail. Matt K making a little bit of a joke. I don't mind a little humor, guys, because if you can't laugh about it, what can you do? I wonder how President Putin of Ukraine feels about this. Yes, we wish our best to Vice President Trump to his first speedy recovery from this event. Thank you, Matt K. And again, guys, you know, there's if you can't joke about it, what can you do? I know some people are going to say, "Oh, this isn't funny. You can't make jokes." You know, look, humor's not illegal, guys.
I think often as humans, we laugh when we're upset and angry and scared. And so I think that it's one of our good traits. It keeps us somewhat sane. It sounds like one of our viewers is also saying potentially there's another injury, maybe an arm wound from another bystander.
Yeah, I'm seeing
sure.
this. This is
Yep.
from Learcy. You know him. MSNBC interviewed an OBGYN in the audience. Again, this is hearsay. Learcy, you wouldn't do this to me, would you? Be making this one up. Interviewed an OBGYN in the audience, said a man near him took a headshot and was killed instantly. Another lady shot in the arm and hand. All right, so that would be another bystander injured. Again, the volume of fire that could be heard in that clip. The audio is out there, folks, showing the actual shots being fired. I'm not surprised to hear about bystanders being hit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We're hearing from EMF 0009 saying one person in the crowd behind Trump was killed from a headshot wound. Shooter is dead. Trump sustained only ear injury. I have friends at the event.
Oh, wow.
Well, EMF, thank you for that information. I hope your friends are all well. Please give them my best. Thank you for passing that on. You know, I'm going to take a second here, Melody, and I'm going to see if I can't bring up the actual video of the attack. I know it was out there. I'm going to go out on a nope. I'm not going to be able to do that. Well, maybe I can. Hold on.
I sent you two videos of it in that email, Jack. The first two should be those.
Okay. I'm going to bring this one up. I believe we have it here. This is my first breaking news event, guys. Bear with me here. It's something of a learning curve for presidential assassinations. It's a new one for me. Okay, here we go.
Same.
This is from Sawyer Hackett on X. This is the actual moment of the attack. Did I share the audio here? I think I shared the audio. Melody, give me a thumbs up when I play this.
Okay.
And
that chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened. That chart's
Wow.
a couple of months old.
So were you able to hear the audio there, Melody?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. It was very faint, but you hear one shot pretty clear. And the president seems like he's not aware of what happens, but you definitely see him touch his ear and then look down at his hand, seeing the blood. And then the shots start ringing out over and over again as the Secret Service rushes in. And I'm guessing some of those other shots that you heard was counterfire from the Secret Service. As the man with the orange hair pointed out, the Secret Service blew his head off, his words on BBC. Let's listen to that again.
That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So you can see the president, he flinches a little bit at the sound of the first shot, and he probably hasn't even felt it yet. And then a split second later, you see him touch his ear. So now he's aware of what's going on. He reaches for his ear, looks at his hand, gets down, and there's the Secret Service. I mean, there 5 or 6 of them on him within a second and a half, 2 seconds.
That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So I think one of our viewers is saying that the person who died behind him was a 34-year-old photojournalist.
Wow.
Matthew Ingalls is what he said. I think that's what it says. Yes.
I feel really bad. Again, guys, I don't have any way to confirm this, but thank you, EMF 009, saying 34-year-old photojournalist Matthew Ingalls, may God rest his soul. Civility is completely gone in this country at this point. I hope not. I hope not, EMF. I hope civility isn't gone. Yeah, but it's a sad day. Somebody goes to a political rally and doesn't come home. It's not supposed to be like that, guys. This is not supposed to. You shouldn't have to risk your life to express your political views in this country, whether you like them or not. And that goes to the other side. You know, if you're in a blue state, you want to go to a political rally, I don't think you should have to fear for your life to go to that rally. It's not supposed to be that way here. Somebody tried to take away that choice. It's not how we do things in this country.
According to Unusual Well on X Twitter, it looks like Biden is going to address the nation after the assassination attempt. It's 8:13 p.m. So
he kind of has to, right? I guess you have to.
Right.
I think I just cringed on behalf of the whole country.
Me too.
When we heard that, his heart's in the right place. Maybe now's not the time to talk about that, but oh, good. President Biden's going to address the country. Yeah.
I think I've had enough drama for today, to be honest. Right.
Maybe we want to delegate this one.
Right.
Just throwing out there, maybe.
Couldn't he be in flight right now or something, like conveniently?
I'm not helping, am I? I'm not helping. It's okay. He's going to address the country. Yeah. Okay. Let's hope it's a message encouraging calm and let's not be making excuses. But what time did we hear that the Biden would address the country?
I don't think we have a time yet, unless anybody is seeing a time that just came from Unusual Wells.
Okay. I mean, it is after bedtime.
It's 8 p.m.
Yeah. We've heard about the hours recently. I don't know. This is going downhill fast. President Biden is going to address the nation, and so we've got that going for us, which is nice. Thank you very much, Lisa B. I appreciate the super chat.
So nice. Thank you, Lisa B.
Thank you both for covering this, bringing community together in difficult times. Much appreciated. Thank you, Lisa B. I appreciate the support and the kind words. I share the sentiment, guys. You know, this could go one of two ways. This could make things worse, and everybody could start pounding on the table saying, "Oh, we should do something too." and I hope that's not how we go. Or we could say this is rock bottom, and politics has reached a new low, and it's time to think about what we all want out of life and where we want this to go. All right, the team sport of politics. Maybe we take a step back from all this, and we just think about where we want to go with this. All right, so we don't know when President Biden is going to address the nation, but I'm imagining it's going to be shortly, because it's getting up there in the hours here. Let me see if I can find anything about when the address is going to take place.
He's on. Somebody's saying he's on.
He's on now.
Do we know what?
Let me see if we can find the live feed here. Folks, if you have a link to the live feed, feel free to let us know.
Okay, it looks like ABC is, it's just Google Biden address nation. ABC's coming up.
Okay, Biden address nation. Live, the White House, whitehouse.gov. There are no live streaming events. Check back soon.
Yeah, I've got somebody standing at a podium on the ABC channel on YouTube. Looks like they're getting ready for him to talk.
All right. Could you drop that in the private chat backstage, Mel?
Yeah.
And I will bring that one up.
Yeah, will do. I think this is what I'm looking for. I think this is what it is.
Okay, I see the link there.
No, that's maybe not, actually. Sorry, hold on. I don't think that's it. Hold on.
President Joe Biden addresses the nation amid pressure to exit the race. That's a 2-day-old stream.
Yeah, that's not it. Yeah. So no, I don't have it. So whoever that user was, I don't think it's on yet.
If I can find anything live on X, and it doesn't look like there is. We're kind of doing this one on the fly, guys. I realize, this isn't scripted. Normally we have a little bit more of a flow when we go live, but this is news happening, and it's messy as it's happening in real time. I'm seeing nothing live on Twitter at the moment.
Neither. Yeah, I'm not either. Okay.
People are saying this as if the address is over already, a little slow to address the nation, but Biden said what he needed to say. Somebody saying on Twitter here.
Oh, Biden is already done with his message. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
I don't
short
think,
and sweet.
I don't think it takes that much time to come out and condemn political violence and call for calm, and then scurry off the stage before questions hit, preferably in the right direction without shaking hands with anybody who isn't there. Okay, here we go. YouTube Live. Biden delivers remarks. Okay. I
just got it too. Yep.
Give me a moment here. I'm going to get this one ready to go, guys. It takes just a split second to bring it up. Okay, is this a live feed? This was live. I don't think it's live at the moment. Let me stop my screen share, present a new screen. Biden delivers remarks. Okay. We're going to go ahead and play this one, guys. And this is President Biden. Let's see. This was streamed 4 minutes ago. So this appears to be it.
Agencies that have engaged in making sure that the people who, and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to give, if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I am able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. But so far, it appears he's doing well. Number one. Number two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much. And I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think it was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to, I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Are you worried, President? Was the security failing
the president stopping short of calling this an assassination?
Was somebody deer hunting? I don't understand, Jack. I mean, sorry. What else would it be called? You're on mute. You muted yourself.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to not get mic feedback. Look, I think that went well. I think when we all heard Biden was going to address the nation, everybody kind of collectively went, right? So, okay, that could have been worse. Strong message of condemnation. All right, that's what the nation needed to hear. He got that out, and he enunciated it. He pronounced it well, relatively well said. All right, I think that needed to be said. All right, a strong message of condemnation from President Biden. It's what the country needed to hear. All right, both sides need to get that message. All right, and hopefully President Trump comes out with something similar when he is able to speak again. But a strong message of condemnation from President Biden there. He did stop short of saying if it was an assassination. You know, that caution, that very careful to use that word. I don't get the caution. I get wanting to get it right and not wanting to fumble the delivery and not put out the wrong information. But you know, when a bullet misses a presidential candidate by a fraction of an inch, or I mean, it hits him, but it misses killing him by a fraction of an inch at a political rally. I mean, it's pretty obvious what this was, guys. You know, what do we need the guy to hold up in a sign that says "assassin over here" before we call it what it is? I don't think that's really going out on a limb there, but it
could be that they're trying to leave room in the air for the conspiracy theory that we've already even seen in our viewer chat, right? That this was staged. And I think that at this point, I think anybody in this country that's not asking themselves questions when they first hear news is, you know, we've just learned too much over the past several years that we can't trust news reports. But I think that what it feels like, and this is an opinion, is that they're leaving space for those conspiracy theories as opposed to trying to just shut that down.
And, you know, hey, it's the 2020s, right? I mean, what have we learned this decade? That, you know, we make germs in labs, and that there are secret islands in the Caribbean where powerful people do bad things to children. So hey, I mean, you know, I got my tinfoil hat right over here. All right. This is not really a time for it, but it's the 2020s. And I think we all need one of these. Pardon my merchandising. I'm not trying to take advantage of this to sell stuff here or anything, but I think we could all stand to be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist in this decade. But at the same time, I'm also an engineer and a firm believer in Occam's razor. And Donald Trump is arguably the most divisive figure in American presidential politics history. Arguably, you know, hey, we have had a civil war before. Maybe there have been more divisive figures. But the simplest explanation here is somebody took a shot at him, right? Some nut took a shot at him. I don't think that's so crazy. And, you know, at the same time, it's the 2020s. And if there's one thing I'm learning, it's not to rule anything out.
That's right.
But I don't think, you know, we've had a couple of people mention in the comments, speculation doesn't help anybody. And I think that's the right message at this time. There's going to be plenty of time for journalists and sleuths to look into this and to look for things that do and don't matter. There's probably going to be more video footage and more camera angles of what happened in the future. And, you know, it's the information age. There's going to be plenty of time to go back and do a post game on this and see what actually happened. I think now is more just a time to call for calm and reflect on how we got here and how do we get out of this mess? How do we clean this mess up?
Yeah. I mean, so I think an interesting topic, you know, Jack, as we're getting more news in, just, you know, What do we think? How do you think Trump is going to take this? And I think we have some indication, but your thoughts on that?
Well, the man is not known for his mild response to events. It's certainly not his MO. He surprised me at the debate, and me and my father were talking before the debate about what Trump's strategy should be, and we both said his strategy should be to keep his mouth shut and let Biden talk as much as possible, but that we didn't think he'd be capable of doing that because the guy's known for running his mouth. But he was actually able to keep his mouth shut and let Biden talk. So, Trump has surprised me already this time around. Does that mean he's going to be rational and calm now? I don't know. Somebody just tried to kill him. Would you be calm? Would you be rational if somebody just tried to kill you? I
think
can't help it, but that would feel personal to me. That would feel kind of personal.
In many ways, though, if you believe what some of the, again, with our tinfoil hat and not speculating about today, but if you do believe what some people have said about what it's like for him right now, he feels besieged on all sides. He's been attacked in ways that a lot of people that don't even know. And again, I'm like you, Jack, I don't have a lot of love for the man. But at the same time, I'm not for political persecutions either. And so, in many ways, this is a manifestation of a lot of things that, these attacks on him, that it's manifested physically, right? And in some ways, this could feel like a justification to him, in just kind of saying, here, I've got the physical evidence of what everyone has been putting me through.
Yeah. And let me just add to this a little bit as we're watching the press here. And I don't know what this guy is talking about here. He seems pretty animated. But they have quite literally made this guy out to be Hitler, right? I mean, wasn't it Time Magazine that recently posted like a mashup of Trump as Hitler? I mean, the threat to democracy, this and that, and oh my God, he's coming for this or he's coming for that, or he could just drone strike anybody, especially since the immunity deal. The rhetoric that has been thrown around, and they treat this guy like he is Satan incarnate and somebody needs to do something. Maybe the folks in the mainstream press might do a little soul searching on this too and wonder what their role in this might have been in radicalizing this nut. Assuming it was just a lone nut who was acting here. Maybe some of them might do a little bit of reflecting on some of the things they've said, holding up, Kathy Griffin holding up the severed bloody head and then making that phony apology and crying because she was losing acting roles over it and then deciding, no, I don't apologize. Never mind. I stand by it. So I guess the tears were fake. Maybe we could all just tone it down a notch, right? We have limitations of powers. We have courts and we have a legislative branch that keep the executive in check. Presidential terms are limited to 4 years or 8 years tops. I mean, if your guy gets elected, or if the other guy, the guy that you don't like, gets elected, so many people are like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And, I remember telling a lot of guys on my side, because you can probably imagine where I sit on the political spectrum when Biden got elected. I'm like, look, he's not going to come eat you. He's not going to knock on your house, kick in your door and eat the last slice or anything like that. I mean, it's stupid politics. You're going to have to hear speeches you don't like. You're going to have to hear policies you don't like. Maybe your taxes go up. Maybe your taxes go down. Maybe the guy you don't like, his taxes go down, and that makes you angry. But at the end of the day, life goes on, guys. Everybody just chill TF out. That's all I can say about this. Politics is just getting too ugly, and it's why I avoid it on my channel at all costs. Sometimes it comes out because we talk about finance on my channel, and sometimes you can't avoid politics, but we just got to chill out, guys. We really got to slow down.
And kind of a funny aside, Jack, Jodie Foster is now trending on X Twitter. You guys may remember that the person that tried to shoot Ronald Reagan was obsessed with Jodie Foster and was trying to get her attention. So that might be why she is trending right now. So again, in that situation, people thought that was politically motivated. Well, I could really go. Yeah, I'll probably just stop there. In that case,
I mean,
though,
have you seen Contact? Come on. 2.5 hours for her dad on a beach, and you're gonna come on, guys. Jodie Foster, give me a break. All right, yeah,
So
Silence of the Lambs was a good film, but I don't
yes.
think Jodie Foster. It was Anthony Hopkins made that flick. It wasn't Jodie Foster. Contact was so bad, so bad. Although
So
I do
who
love the
knows?
one quote from Contact. Isn't that the U.S. government for you? Why buy one when you can buy two and spend twice as much? That was
Yeah,
the one quote from the guy in that movie that I remember. That the rest of the movie was so bad, though.
I like it, Jack.
You like
Sorry.
it? You just like
Yeah,
Matthew McConaughey. He was pretty
no,
good in that.
no. I like the message because at the beginning of the movie, it's all about the fact that we take frantic vacations that we don't enjoy. So anyway, I was a fan. Sorry.
I just wanted to hear Matthew McConaughey say, all right, I love them aliens. But he just never came out with it in the movie. He was a very serious character in Contact. And how did we get onto this subject, the Reagan assassination?
Because Jodie Foster, yes,
That was
theoretically,
tangential.
that guy was fascinated or fixated with Jodie Foster. That was the story.
Yeah, and even to that extent, like now that we know that and we're laughing about it, I got to reiterate, I don't want to know who this guy was. I don't want to know what made him tick. I don't want to hear about his manifesto. I don't care. I think the sooner history forgets about this loser, the better. Deny him the fame he was seeking. All right, but it won't. Assassins get their middle names in the history books, right? If you try to assassinate somebody, everybody remembers your first name, right? John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald. You get your middle name in the history books when you try to assassinate somebody, and I think that's stupid. I think you should be a blank in the history books. Just write some effing loser. All right, SFL are the initials of every future assassin if you want to get this stuff to stop. Anyways, T.A. Chapman, thank you, sir, for supporting the channel. He says the tipping point was the debate for this insanity. The debate may have left people feeling more desperate. It's possible somebody looked at the debate and saw that there was no hope and decided this is how they were going to go about it. It's plausible. We're speculating a little bit here. I don't want to speculate too much on taking it into their own hands. I would say that is plausible, T.A. Chapman, because it was so awful. Entirely plausible. Thank you for supporting the channel. But again, I don't know that speculation, who knows what makes crazy people do crazy things? Butterfly flaps its wings. Anyways, we've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes here, Mel. Do you think we missed anything? I mean, I've been scrolling through the news feeds, and it seems like we know everything we're going to know for the time being. There's the flow of new news has really slowed down. We're not getting any more updates. Still nothing on the identity again, and I don't want the identity of the guy. If we see it, we'll report on it, but I don't really want it.
I think we've covered everything that they're talking about so far. We're just getting a few more images of the rooftop when the police reached that body on the roof. Nothing though, I would say newsworthy. So I think we have covered this story as we know it right now.
Yeah. And I just heard my kids just came in the door with my wife. They just got back. They were at a swim event with their friends, and I'm sure by now they've got text messages about this. And I'm just wondering, what do I say to my kids about this? How do I explain this? Bad people doing bad things. Maybe the Mr. Rogers, they'll look for the helpers. Talk about those Secret Service agents and how just absolutely magnificent they were to throw themselves in the line of fire to protect somebody that, for all we know, they don't even like the guy and don't want him elected. And yet there they go, throwing their lives on the line because they believe in something bigger than themselves. Maybe that's the message that I tell my girls tonight. I don't know what I'm going to tell them about this.
I think the other message, Jack, in my opinion, is just, that we have to come together, that we can't let this divide us, that, people are going to be angry and they're going to be yelling. And instead, we have to hear what they're feeling versus what they're saying. And what we're all feeling right now, guys, is, some of it's anger, but a lot of it is just fear and uncertainty about what the future is going to bring. We're looking at two candidates that, we don't feel great about. We're watching what looks like theater often on television. And now we've seen a former president, almost an assassination attempt. I'll say it, Jack. I'm going to say it. And so I think that when there's anger out there, often what that is masking is fear. And so often, what I say to people is don't listen to what they're saying, but what they're trying to say or where they're coming from, and then talk to them. And, so it means kind of making yourself deaf to often insults and things like that, but we can do it. And, just make a commitment not to let this divide us any further, and to really try to reach across the aisle from wherever you are, to just understand their perspective. So maybe we can all have a civil debate about this in the future.
Yep. And, guys, the wackos on both sides, all right, the people, the screamers, as I call them, the ones who make it impossible to have any kind of reasoned, nuanced discussion about any of the issues of our time, they are going to try to seize on this to recruit, to try to gin up following. They're going to be going after clicks. They're going to be doing a lot of things for their own interests to try to make this thing worse. They're certainly not going to take the day off. Don't let them make things worse. All right. People are going to try to tap into your fears, to your angers, and they're going to try to get you to go along with things that not too long ago would have been viewed as crazy. This is a time to take a deep breath and settle down and not overreact. It's obviously very powerful image, but let's let this be the low. All right. Let's not go any lower than this. If this is as bad as it gets, maybe we got off cheap. But for that one person in the background at the crowd, unfortunately, they did not get off cheap. So more to come on this story, guys. Thank you, Melody, for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Again, there's going to be plenty more to hear about this. This time tomorrow, I'm sure there's going to be more film and more commentary. Just let's let cooler heads prevail, everybody. Melody, I'll give you the last word. Anything you want to throw in before we wrap this one up?
I just want to say thank you, Jack, for being the ship's captain tonight, for doing this, for coming on with me. I mean, I think we were both very trepidatious about this.
Captain, who's flying this ship? Who's
you? And guys, it's scary for us. Even earlier today, we did a show where we said we weren't going to talk about a certain two words, and we got a context flag on our video because we said we weren't going to talk about it. I mean, that's how scary it is right now to voice your opinion in the public. And so I think because of, things like this, because of violence. So I would just say again, just emphasize my last message. Please don't let this divide us further. And if people are shouting, you be the cooler head. You be the one that listens while they shout and calmly responds and try to come together, because no matter what, we need to be able to have this election, a real election. And, each of us can play a part in that by how we react to this. So again, just thank you so much, Jack, for doing what you did tonight.
Thank you, Melody. Wise words. Good note to end the show on. Everybody, thank you so much for your time. Let's all try to salvage the rest of this weekend, guys, and let cooler heads prevail. And we will see you on the next one.